Deck building in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like an art, an outlet for creativity, mathematics, innovations, and logic. And I pride myself on my cutting-edge, methodical, and synergistic deck building. However, crafting a well-designed deck is not an easy feat to accomplish, and many duelists come to me seeking help to salvage the train wreck that is their deck. So on Decklist Nightmares, you can submit your deck lists to me, and each week I'll review 3 abominable deck lists and attempt to transform those monstrosities into an efficient and cohesive deck list. Welcome to Decklist Nightmares. Now before we begin, I want to remind you guys we're on the Jesse Cotton Highlights channel, so if you haven't already, please subscribe to catch all the further updates of this series and some of the best moments from my stream. As well as, if you're interested in submitting your own deck list, you can do so with the link in the description. And lastly, this is supposed to be a play on Kitchen Nightmares by Gordon Ramsay. So while I will be providing real advice, I'll also do so in a pretty brutal fashion, how you may see Gordon do on, say, Hell's Kitchen.
It's a bit like your brain. Not only is it shrunk, but it's disappeared.
So remember, this is all for the sake of entertainment, and I'm not trying to be vicious for the sake of destroying somebody's ego. And if you're going to submit your deck list, be prepared it could happen to you. With that said, let's have some fun and fix some deck lists. All right, after a bit of a hiatus, we are back with Decklist Nightmares. So it's time to see some of your decks and how to fix them in a new format with both the TCG and Master. I'm curious to see what bullshit we have to deal with today. The last episode, if I recall, wasn't as bad as the second last episode, in which we got a Goblin deck that was not Goblin Bikers. All right, first up, we got Fig Fug, who submitted Goblin Biker Tenpai. The goal of this deck is to utilize Tenpai cards as rank 3 combo starters. As again, Roku's effects become level 4 is optional to make Big Gabonga for a full Goblin combo. But if you go second, or on turn 3, any one card starter can make Gabonga or Cherubini to send Hydra, and then link into Princess to revive it for a Tenpai OTK. And then it cuts off because you guys don't know how to click enter and write everything on one line. But okay, let's take a look at this monstrosity. It's like you guys saw Goblin from last time and wanted to redeem goblins. I have higher expectations for this deck, truthfully. So let's take a quick look. And why wouldn't it be a 60 card deck? Because nothing is ever not a 60 card deck. Okay, so first thing, we're diving in here. One thing I will say that I'm happier to see. Okay, this was submitted before the ban list, obviously. We're gonna ignore the limits on Sangan, Kaiman, and Chandra, because obviously that was not their decision. Your eyes, you need bleach. I understand some of y'all want to pull your hair out and rip your eyeballs and go full Oedipus and just stab yourself in the eye. But this is not as bad as seeing your mother naked.
Huh?
I'll give respect where it's due. I've given you guys infinite shit for playing 2-ofs and randomized numbers. And while this deck list is not perfect, and we'll get into critiquing it and my problems here, the logic behind most ratios, it's thoughtful. This isn't just a stinking pile of turd that someone left on my front door. This is somebody who tried, and I respect that. You're saying, have none of you fucking read Oedipus? Is my Twitch chat full of imbeciles? I'm more mad at you guys than the deck here. Like uncultured swines, I swear to God. This is about your naked mom. Yes, I understand. Sleep with your mom. That's what Oedipus is. You think Yu-Gi-Oh players read? Wasn't it mandatory in school for you guys? We're getting off track here. Someone Sakurai Blue commented, oh my God. Never mind. Enough about Greek, the Theban plays. You will not thank you. It's a classic. The Theban plays are a classic. You guys are dumb. Anyways, moving on. My chat is worse than this person here. I think I just got brain damage. Guys, the deck list isn't even the thing that's wrong here. This deck doesn't have that many 2-ofs, which I'm a huge fan of. That's the biggest thing that I like. The 2 talents is the biggest thing that's like, okay? But if that's just a result of you had 2 spots in your deck, then I'll accept it. The one thing that I think we go too far here, and this is a big thing that is going to hold you back as a duelist if you cannot overcome this, is this: you failed to kind of rein in your utility, rein in your ability to cook. This is a huge thing with mastering combo decks, as well as 60 card piles especially. And that is knowing when a 1-of is actually needed. And I'm talking here about cards like Grand Pileup, Breakout, not break. Oh wait, why Breakout a 1-of? I thought this was the other goblin spell. Never mind, this should probably be a 3 of. Playing cards like Nian, I guess it's teleport target, tracker, wielder. There's too many 1-ofs. It's a common trend I see with duelists who are building decks and are exploring with deck building. And I love it because I did the same thing. However, one thing you're going to learn and you need to kind of tone down is the 1-ofs, because a card's usefulness as utility only matters as much as how often you're going to search it. If it's not a card you want to draw that often, but you want to search it, that's why you would play 1 of it. As you can see, many of the cards in here are designated as a 1-of. But if the card is never coming up, then you don't need to play it, period. You could side deck for specific matchups or put it in certain matchups. So learning not to have a million different ones is important. And understanding that sometimes you will lose a game or two not playing a specific utility card, but you'll win overall more games by increasing the overall consistency and card quality in with your deck. Because as we can see here, the biggest problem with this deck list is you've made concessions on powerful starters here that you really shouldn't have had to, drop, such as Breakout here. Now, I also wonder if you're supposed to play more Gone Wild. It is a normal summon, which conflicts with the additional normal summons the deck now contains, given you're playing Dora Draco and Hydra. So I can maybe understand that. And you want to take this mathematically to decide if you are okay with less normal summons. If you are able to put more normal summons in, then I'm saying, yes, play more Gone Wild. The card is good. But either way, you should be playing more Breakout. I thought this was the other spell for a second. It gives you an extra normal summon. And I was going to say that card should come up so infrequently that it deserves no spot in this deck. However, Breakout is a 3 of in my mind, almost undoubtedly, partially because it also lets you dodge cards like Valor and Imperm, which your Dora Draco would be otherwise vulnerable to. So that's like the first thing that I think needs changing. Let's look at the extra deck real quick. I think the extra deck look here, it looks actually kind of fine. I'd recommend trying to find space for IP Masquerena. In my experience with the Goblin Biker, playing that over one of these other random cards like Shadow, Cicada King, even Crazy Beast doesn't come up that much, but having the IP as an endboard piece is actually just better than using full armored XYZ on the opponent's turn to make Cicada King. IP and SP is legitimately just a far better play. Now, sometimes you'll still have one or the other to make you still need one of them to use full armored XYZ. Sometimes, like when you have the what's it called, Clatter Sploder, the one summons from grave. So that's fine, but I think lightning on that is okay for IP. Also, you consider Hieratic Seal because, well, you're playing Tenpai, right? And your dragons just don't have any special utility here, and that's something that I think could use some concern, or could use some fixing. Now, as for Crossout here, I don't know how weak this deck is to hand traps. I don't know why Crossout is the non-engine you're going for. You need to be going something that fixes the problems with the deck. I call it problem-solving deck building. Try finding weaknesses and expand upon that, and that's where your non-engine should come from. However, I find it very unlikely your weaknesses come from cards like Effect Valor, Impermanence, and Ash. That's what you need Crossout for. You play it in Ryziel right now because it stops the choke point of Valor, Imperm, Ash on Duo Drive. That's not a shared common thread between the two decks. Just because Crossout is a good card in the format doesn't mean it's something you need to automatically include in every deck. It depends on the circumstances around it. And I'm almost certain that other sorts of non-engine will be better off in this deck than Crossout here. So either more talents, back removal, drop would be very good. I'm also curious about Mourner. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I think other back row or other things here. And now the other problem with this deck here, and I'm gonna not be mean for this one because someone put effort in. I don't want to be roasting like I have in other videos. Mourner, how is that better than other hand traps? Now the reason to play more Mourners, and this is a really bad one, you can use it with Speedway Attack at Tomborg. It gives you the chance of breaking. And this is again drawing back to the idea that you're relying too much on utility as opposed to card quality. You mustn't keep sacrificing your deck's power level for the sake of options, because at a certain point, your deck becomes more consistent, but consistently worse. Mourner is a 3 probably, but this deck doesn't lack normal summons. That's where I'm saying, also at that point, I'd rather Ghost Ogre, right? I would rather play other stuff. And again, having utility with your own engine to act as engine can be nice. However, you don't want to normal summon Mourner. Make sure your non-engine is actually fulfilling the role you are setting out to fulfill with the non-engine. If it isn't doing what you need it to accomplish, then that's a problem and may as well have not existed. And if you're monitoring a card at a suboptimal time for the sake of doing nothing, it's not worth it. You need to be doing something else. So you should be altering your main deck non-engine to reflect the meta better and the actual weaknesses of the deck. Your side deck will probably move cards into the main deck, and your side deck will then open up for other cards for other matchups, which is actually nice. Josh doesn't listen. Consistency is key. Josh and I have differing opinions on it, but he will still agree with my argument. He will just draw the line at where it's worth cutting off consistency less aggressively than me. I am more aggressive with pushing power, where he's more into consistency. Not that either of us necessarily wrong, but that's the thing. I like this though. So why I think this is really cool and why I haven't been too mean here. This actually is nice that with the changes in the Forbidden Limited list and Chandra and Kaiman going to 1, this could be a cool deck to play just in the TCG. Right, I think Thrust could be a cool one to help break fields because it gets terraforming to access Tenpai cards going second, and then going first. You can play 1D barrier. Also, what the hell is this 1D barrier doing in here without Thrust? Oh, it's for cross out. Okay, this deck is nice though because you have options through barrier because you have Exceeds and Synchros. But also, what I like about this is it gives you consistency to Tenpai, where you just lost that with the ban list because the Cherubini plays, and you have flexibility. I think that's really cool. And if you still want to play Tenpai post list with a bit of a different twist on it, this looks really awesome. As well as if you haven't already checked out these Goblin cards, they look kind of good into Rizal. I think throwing in some more effect negation for duo drive, some thrusts, cleaning up the Tenpai cards, improving this ratio, and giving this a shot into the new format could low-key be kind of sick. So I'm giving this deck a thumbs up. I'm very happy with the suggestion. We're cooking. This is a deck list on its way to success. Obviously went over the problems here, but it's far from lost. So approved. Just let Tenpai die. Okay, Tenpai pure is cancer, but this person's not relying on floodgates, shifter, charmies, whatever. This is a person who's trying to innovate within Tenpai, which I respect. They're trying to actually play the game, break fields. This is interactive. This isn't the same thing. So before we rush to put all Tenpai under one umbrella and say we hate it, think about why we hate Tenpai. We can hate that about Tenpai, but not this, because this isn't the problem. Anyways, let's move on. All right, Fig Fug, thank you for the suggestion. I'm happy. All right, let's see if we get better from this. Ah, fuck, I already read the title of the deck name of this. This is gonna get worse. God damn it, is every single one of these 60 card decks? All right, I haven't read it to you guys yet, but Goey Low-E X Magna submitted. I don't want to read this out loud. Tearlaments, Ritual Beast, ABC, U-Bell. It's just every fusion deck you could think of. The deck goal is dig deep with Dugaris and Arceja to mill Kikalos or Grass, then fusion summon from the grave. Your best end board you can achieve is 3-mat Apo, Rolkalos, Phantom, ABC with 2 in hand. That is Buster Drake and Ritual Beast and Tamer when that is a run-on sentence. Never seen one. With the nature of this deck, the end board varies from 1 Phantom pass and then it cuts off. Guys, please click enter when you're typing up these responses, because if you write one whole long line, it cuts off. But it's very fitting that his end board goes from Phantom pass and then it cuts off, because that's what I'm foreseeing. Vlad says, kid you not, all the decks that didn't seem like 60 card decks had either broken links or they were just normal lists. It's fine. We'll review 60 card decks, I guess. So I understand the gimmick here. It's a really bad gimmick, but let's see how bad it is. I'm gonna throw up, aren't I? And here we go. Oh my God, I can't even see it. It's so small. Oh, my head hurts. Let's go gambling.
Let's go gambling. Oh, dang it. Oh, dang it.
This is a person with an addiction. No sane person does this. What happens if you don't draw a tier card and you can't mill? Do you just lose? Oh, dang it. This is terrible. I don't even know where to begin with this. What's the bottom left spell? Left Arm Offering, bro. That's Left Arm Offering. That's like the best card in this deck because it gets grass. The only playable card here. So let's try and decode this. Bro, why are there 2 Windas in your deck? Like the Ritual Beast Winda. Not even actual Ritual Beast plays 2 Winda. This is a fucking mess. There's no Cumin Falcus in here either. We've decided not to play Ash for Maxi. Just droll. We've chosen not to play Thrust. Because why would we want to see grass? We wouldn't, right? Oh my god. Okay, like the problem with this, and I'm being generous because this is a fucking turd. In order to fuse from the grave, you need multiple fusion materials. You need to mill multiple cards very aggressively, I might add. And in order to do that consistently, this person has chosen to play like 40 bricks. They're better off going to Africa and building some schools because they have enough bricks to do that. That would be an actual good use of their time. You think they're better off doing this? I don't. I imagine drawing a hand and going set B pass. What are we in fucking 2016? You don't get the Ritual Beast add to this? I don't either. So like with the Ritual Beasts, what you could do with Kanahawk is Kanahawk could banish Lara. Summon from deck Elder. You'd make ulti Kanahawk. You'd add Wen, tag out, make Kimon Falcus, banish another one, banish the window. Normal summon Wen, and special summon the window. Or no, you'd banish Rampengu. You'd have to play Rampengu in this. And then what you do is you go banish the Kanahawk from deck, the one you just put back. Sends another Kanahawk. Then you banish the Elder from the grave. I'll just show you guys in Dueling Book. RB Ritual Beast Cancer, because that's what I have. I have Cancer right now. So I'm going to show you guys what you can actually do with this. I'm not condoning this. I'm going to try and make as much sense of this as I can. We can go normal summon Kanahawk. And from the deck, we banish Lara. We're then going to summon Elder. And we're going to banish both of these for Kanahawk. Now we're going to return to grave and chain to tag out. So we're going to summon this back. Summon this back. This goes to grave. This gets tagged out. And we add Wen. And then we're going to go banish from deck. Banish Rampengu. Next I'll link. Oh, actually, it doesn't need to be Rampengu. It could just be Wen. You don't have to play this, actually. It could just be Winda. It could just, yeah, I mean, sure, I didn't put Winda in this deck. But make Kimon Falcus. Effect 2 additional normal summon. Banish 1. Normal summon. Bring back the one you haven't summoned yet. So in this case, Rampengu. You don't have to send, but then you can go banish 1, banish 2. And we can summon out our Nochi Drago. And if you had put a level 4 in the grave, put a Winda in the grave, and then banished it, you could then tag it out, summon, and make Dugaris here. And then keep extending. But if you don't do that, you don't want to put extra cards in your deck, which I guess, then this makes Saryuja. This turns Kanahawk into a 1-card Saryuja. If, for whatever dumbass reason you have, you want to turn your Ritual Beast deck into a pile combo deck, I would build it around the premise of these type of combos. Could we not make Curious with Kanahawk? Oh, I'm used to TCG. Psychic. I mean, we could have, right? Not here. They're cooking. They are cooking. We have ourselves a chef in chat. We have ourselves a chef. Brilliant. But Nochi is light? Don't worry, fret not, my child. We'll run through the same scenario. So with this Kanahawk, what we can do, but we're going to summon the Elder out, and then the same shit as before. We're going to go into Kanahawk. And now we're going to put this in the grave, and we're going to summon back the other two. And I forgot the other Repelio. I have to add the other Repelio to the extra deck, which is a bit of a nuisance, but it's fine. And now what we're going to do is we're going to link off these two. We're going to make this. I have to use the Kanahawk to banish first. Banish the Apelio, or the Pengu. I'm going to banish and grave the normal summon. I guess I keep the Lara in grave, so I banish this one. Keep this in grave. And I'm going to normal summon this. And then I'm going to summon out this. And I'm going to banish the Apelio from the extra deck. Put this in grave. And then I'm going to go banish this and banish this for Ulti Nochi. And here you have Saryuja. Or what you can do is you can summon out the Apelio here. And with this, you have cool options, right? You can make a rank 4. Or you can link off 1, 2, 3 and go into Curious. Or you can go Saryuja. If you're curious here, you can make Appaloosa afterwards. Here we go. We have actual cohesion. This person, however, has decided, no, we do not want synergy. We do not want combos. We want bricks. This is like the person who has let there be, who wants to go gambling. They show up at the casino and they hit 20 in blackjack. They had 2 10s. And you know what they fucking do? They say, hit me. Because that's what this deck looks like right now. They could have cooked. They could have said, I'll make a bad, but deck that has cool combos. And we decided, nah, such a disappointment. Have you learned nothing from my streams? Hitting on an 18? It's worse than hitting on 18. That's how I feel. I like to live dangerously. They like to watch their opponent play. Maybe they like spectating. They're Twitch chatters after all. They like watching other people play Yu-Gi-Oh! They themselves don't like to play. But seriously though, this deck lacks focus. If there's a way to fix this, oh my god, there's not even Nightmare Throne in this deck. You've cut out all of the good cards in each of your own themes and added the brick from every single theme to build your deck. That is the problem here. Pick something to hone in on and build around that. If you wanted to build Ritual Beast Tearlament, I would say that doesn't sound good, but I can see an idea. So let's build around it. Or Ritual Beast or Tier U-Bell. Same thing. Tier ABC, I'd wince a little more, but with Union Hanger and with Union Driver, there's a concept. Is building around fun? This isn't fun. This is losing. Is losing fun for you guys? Are you guys that fucking bad? Oh my god. Very misguided deck. Do better. See, I don't know if that was too harsh because I was a lot nicer with the last one. Hopefully this last person here gives us a little more sanity because I have little hope for you guys after that. Savannah Knoll Edge said, or submitted, branded Centurion, which I imagine is just Bestial Resonated Centurion. That's a pretty normal deck. The goal is to bridge Red Dragon into Centurion, a mixed end board attempting to get Auxilla on the on field as the link between. That sounds normal. Doesn't sound like that much cooking either. So let's see. Okay, so we got a 50 card deck. We've taken a step down from 60. Oh, why are there 3 counter traps in your deck? I had hope for you. The one of talents. Oh my god. Editor Vlad loves talents. At 1. Only at 1. So did he fucking pick this deck because there's 1 talents in there? Wait, there's 3 Red Dragon Archer Fiends in the extra? Nah, this is cope, right? Like, because this is a real concept. Why is it called branded? For the 1 Lubellion. Bro, we're not in OCG. You can play more than one of that card. I want to be nice, but this isn't cooking. This is a deck that exists. You just made it worse? Oh god. So let's talk about a few things here. When evaluating how many of a card to put in our deck, one of the things that's important for us to decide is, do we want to draw it? The answer is no, then do we play it, period? The answer would be yes, if we decide it's a card we are going to be searching frequently. And it existing in our deck is worth the chance of drawing it and will overall improve win rate accordingly. Whether the counter trap is worth including for Centurion is debatable in its own right. Putting it at 3 tells me that's a card you want to draw, which then you have to argue, why do you want to draw this card? And if the argument is it's good to go first with, why aren't you playing Summon Limit at that point? Because effectively that's what you could be playing, a card that is a proper auto win when you go first. And that's where the logic falls apart on these cards. Now, the other time you'd play more than 1 is when you need to search multiple within the same game. But if you're delusional enough to think that in Centurion, you're playing a game where you need to search for multiple Centurion counter traps, you are high. Completely high. Like you've lost your brain and a donkey is building the deck for you type of shit. Like, where's Emblema Oath? That was literally the next thing I was going to say. In the right format, you might consider the counter trap, I don't even remember the name of it, to be a better card than Phalanx. Because at the end of the day, you're searching a defensive card. You search the defensive card that is better into the format. Now, I would argue that Phalanx is a better card overall, and in most formats, Phalanx will be superior. However, in certain formats, the counter trap is more impactful than Phalanx. I'll concede that fact. I would not run 3 of it, but yeah. Emblem Oath there's no defense. You've chosen to play less starters, less extenders, and one of the single best cards in the deck. And the extra deck is taking on the same approach you are with the main deck, right? Like, and this is where it's more obvious. It's utility based, right? You put in cards that you're only going to summon once per game. Playing Red Dragon Archfiend because it's your favorite card at 3 when you only would ever summon 1, it doesn't make, it makes no sense. Like, I don't even, I'm trying to think of a metaphor, and I'm kind of just speechless because I don't know what I would describe it as. I don't know. It's like buying 3 cars because it's your favorite car. So you bought, like, say you really like, I don't know, fucking Mazda for some reason. So you buy 3 Mazdas. Only ever use one at a time. No one else will use them. You just buy 3. Because why not? You like it. That's essentially what it feels like. It serves no purpose. It's just a waste. It's a waste of your resources. It takes away from other options, and it's just shit. Don't let Mazda get caught in the crossfire. It's a good car. I wasn't saying it was a bad car. That wasn't the point. Would you buy 3 of the same fucking car for no reason? No. What? That's not the point. Where's the fairy link without skill drain? Doesn't it require fairies though? That's not. There's no SP. There's no Chaos Angel. There are several other problems here, right? Chaos Angel's a big one, right? Because that card's great Centurion, and it is a Dark Synchro as well. SP is another important one. Typhon is pretty good in these decks too, but this took the concept of play 3 ofs way too far. When I talk about playing 3 of a card because it's good, actually make sure that it's good. Because if the card is not good, don't play 3 of it. And this goes for many of the resonators in the deck as well. Ironically, the card you played 1 of, and it's not even fucking searchable, except with the Magnamut, is Lubellion. Like, why is that the card you play 1 of? That card actually helps progress your plays. It has synergies with you. It lets you synchro summon more aggressively. Like, surely that's the one that's worth playing more of, right? No Resonator Search Spell. Yep, no Resonator Call either. This deck is almost a red herring of consistency. It's a false flag. It may sit atop its high mountain saying, I play 3 ofs. I am consistent. But it is instead chosen to not have any utility while still finding a way to not be consistent. It has taken a virtue of deck building and twisted it into something that is really something you have to avoid. This deck needs to be overhauled, and I'm not going to focus on the specifics of the Bistral Centurion deck too much because this is not a super innovative deck. It's not a common deck, but it's a deck where if you go to Master Duel Meta or YouTube, you'll find many instances of people that have played the deck for more than myself. And speaking to non-engine, to ratios, to mathematics is something I can help you with. To give actual help with the Centurion deck, maybe not my strongest suit. So that's why when I tell you the overall deck composition and the game plan here, that's where your absolute biggest flaw lies. And that's what needs to be fixed if you have any chance of redeeming this deck. Work within the mindset of if it's a card you not really want to draw, if the card's not super impactful by itself or to help you really accomplish your engine, 1. If you don't need it, don't play it, period. Only play 3 of a card you really need. And put in your other good extenders. I mean, there's always a chance that Emblema Oath is not played for budget reasons. Is that an Ultra in Master Duel? I feel like it is, but you know. You need to learn what each engine needs at a minimum. Yeah, that too. There's several things. God, chat is driving me as insane as the fucking deck list itself. Where are the branded cards? It's regained. I don't know what to tell you guys. I've been asked like 4 times. Also, and this is a big one as well, you're not always going to be locked under your synchro restrictions. You're going to need cards for scrappy game states where you get stopped or you only see and draw certain pieces of your engine. This is important that I bring this up because your deck lacks Legatia. It lacks SP. Now, under normal circumstances, yes, you wouldn't be able to summon those cards, but you don't live in an idealistic world. You don't get to just do your combo every game into a field or through hand traps. That's not how the world exists. You don't get to buy a lottery ticket and just win the lottery every time. And in these games where you don't have all that stuff given to you, then having the options that are atypical to your game plan pay off. And that's where it's important you aren't clogging your extra deck with the random garbage and multiples. But all right, that was Deckless Nightmares this time. We got 3 decks reviewed. We got the last deck there, the branded Centurion Resonator deck, the tier bad card deck, and Goblin Biker Tenpai. Now, before I give you guys my ratings, what do you guys think are the coolest decks there? What are the best decks? Best beforehand and best promise afterwards. I think the worst one, despite how bad the Resonator deck might have been, is still the tier deck. That one gave me stomach ulcers, I think. It makes me not want to play tier. And I love tier, so you know what that means. And I think the best is the Goblin Biker deck in both idea and post fixing. I unfortunately think there are some like fun, interesting concepts you can build upon with the Ritual Beast version. So it's not all garbage. I'm gonna regret saying that, but maybe it's not completely nothingness. Anyways, guys, that is Decklist Nightmares this time. Remember, if you want to submit your deck lists, link is below. And maybe you'll get reviewed next time. Please submit better decks. Please submit better decks. See you then.